How's our financial plan coming?
Super! Chris, any advice?
With Western and Southern, preparing for your financial future can be easier than you think. Favorite receiver?
Huh?
To get started, visit westernsouthern.com.
All right, it's time now for our highest graded rookies entering week 12. Solomon Wilcots, Sam Monson. Of course, it's presented by Western and Southern. And Sam, let's start at the bottom of the list. Let's start at number 10 because this is a wide receiver over the last couple of weeks. He's been good as any in the NFL.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel for the San Francisco 49ers. He's really come on the past few weeks, made a catch of the year candidate this past week against the Cardinals.
Yep.
Kind of thing where you needed to actually see the replay to figure out how he even brought it in. It was ridiculous. And then, his 3 highest grades of the year have all come in the last few weeks as they've cranked up his workload.
And it's been good because in the absence of George Kittle with the injury to Emmanuel Sanders, Deebo Samuel's had to really step up. They needed one of these young receivers to start putting up some big numbers. Back-to-back week with over 100 yards receiving. So Deebo Samuel, congratulations. You're starting to pay off huge dividends. At number 9, this is a quarterback that, dare I say, he could be trending towards Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I think he's definitely heading in that direction. Kyler Murray for the Cardinals, he's got the 3rd highest graded rushing performance. So after Lamar Jackson and Sean Watson, the guys you would expect. Kyler Murray's next. They're starting to use his legs more. But the other thing that's been really impressive is he doesn't make that many mistakes.
Absolutely.
He's got one of the lowest turnover-worthy play percentages in the entire NFL, 1.8%. So, 1.8% is a really good interception rate, and most quarterbacks have more turnover-worthy plays than they have interceptions. So for him to have that kind of rate, that really speaks to how careful he's being with the football.
This is a guy that's dropping back to throw a lot. I would say drop back, but he's in shotgun most of the time. But you're right. He's making good decisions with the football. Only 9 turnover-worthy plays. That's not a lot when you consider how much he is handling the football. And for a rookie quarterback to be entrusted with the franchise as much as he is, he's doing a very good job. Let's move up to number 8 because this is a young receiver. Let's face it, if you were to meet him at the post office, you wouldn't think much of him. But when you see him on the football field, he's big time.
Right. Hunter Renfrow from the Oakland Raiders, just like he was at Clemson. The guy makes plays when you give him the opportunity to do that. 33 catches this year, 20 of them have moved the chains. He is becoming one of Derek Carr's favorite targets within that offense, and that offense overall is cooking. So Renfrow has been a big part of that entire Oakland Raiders offense, taking steps in the right direction and looking better than we thought it would.
And as we move up the list for the highest graded rookies entering week 12, the Indianapolis Colts seem to be able to draft and find players on defense, and they found a linebacker out of Stanford, and this guy is turning heads because he has the best coverage grade of any player on defense.
Right, Bobby Okereke, a linebacker. You're right. They've been finding these guys, Darius Leonard, Okereke, and they're not necessarily guys that dominated in college. You look at Okereke's grades at Stanford, they didn't blow you away. He did get better every single year of his college career in terms of PFF grading, but that final year was not incredible, and yet the Colts, they like his athleticism, they like his length, and he's been making plays as a rookie so far.
Marquise Hollywood Brown, number 6 on our list. Here's a guy that was drafted to stretch the field with the Baltimore Ravens, create some big plays, so that underneath it could be easier for the tight ends to get open, easier for the quarterback, Lamar Jackson, to run around and do his thing. And that's exactly what he's given the offense.
He really has, and it's difficult sometimes to quantify the threat that brings. Right? Some of those big plays have died off a little bit earlier in the season. Those two were connecting on a whole bunch of deep shots, and it looked like absolutely, this is going to be fireworks all the way through the season. That's kind of died off a little bit, but the threat is still there. And if you look at Lamar Jackson's passer rating when targeting Hollywood Brown, it's 128.6. That's a top 10 figure in the NFL. And obviously speaks to the kind of dynamism he has.
And that's why they went out and got him. I'm telling you, and they hit him early so that, guess what? They expected it maybe to cool off. We know big plays like that aren't going to come every single week. But we've seen indirectly all those other things kind of really just be huge within the offense, and that is the tight ends getting open over the middle of the field and the quarterback, Lamar Jackson, being able to take advantage of that open real estate. How about Nick Needham? because we thought that the Miami Dolphins was selling off assets. They seem to have found a few gems.
Right. You wouldn't think a Miami Dolphins player of any kind was on this list.
That's right.
And yet Nick Needham has really stood up the past few weeks. Highest grade from a rookie cornerback. He's allowed a completion rate of just 51.4%. That's 11th of 102 cornerbacks this season. So when you set the filter big enough, you get 100 guys, he's almost top 10. That's how well he's been playing. Had an interception and a pass breakup against the Colts, who's a big reason they won that game.
That's right.
The Colts have got a dramatically better roster than the Dolphins right now, but Needham was one of the reasons they were able to overcome it.
And he's playing huge. He's playing opposite of Xavier Howard, so this is not a guy that's hiding. Teams are looking to challenge him, and he's still making big plays. Terry McLaurin, number 4 on his list, he could be as high as number 1 as far as I'm concerned. Because since day one, despite the fact that he was a 3rd-round pick, he's the best rookie on the football team.
Absolutely. He is fantastic. He's an elite receiver right off the bat.
Right now.
And a guy that people didn't see coming out of Ohio State. That offense kind of warps perception, I think, a little bit of receivers. It draws all the attention to the gimmick guy, the Paris Campbell role.
That's right.
It sort of hides the guy that's playing on the outside and just is usually a better receiver. We've seen it a couple of times now with Michael Thomas first for the New Orleans Saints, and now with Terry McLaurin. He's got a top 10 PFF grade. He's got a passer rating when targeted over 120. And when you consider that, most of the time Dwayne Haskins has been his quarterback, his overall passer rating is under 60. So it jumps 60 points when you're targeting Terry McLaurin. That's how good he's been.
Gotta love Terry McLaurin. He's a polished receiver. I said that he's the best rookie on the team. He's the best wide receiver on the football team, if you take a look at his numbers in terms of what he's doing. Dexter Lawrence checking in at number 3 as our highest graded rookies entering week 12. This is a huge, massive defensive lineman. I saw him standing on the field. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy is huge, but yet he still gets a push in terms of his pass rush, and forget about trying to block him in the run game.
Right, and that's the key, right? So we expect him to be a dominant run defender. Top 5 run defense grade among interior guys, 88.0, but he does bring pass rush.
Yes, he does.
That's the key for these really big run-stuffing monsters. If you can add something, if you can push the pocket and get some kind of pressure, you're so much more valuable. So he's chipped in this year with 20 total pressures, which is a decent amount for a guy that is a run-stuffing specialist.
Yeah, and the next guy on our list at number 2, he was the number 2 overall pick in the 2019 draft. This guy really needs no introduction because he's got twice as many total pressures as of anyone else on the defense. And he's playing with some really good defensive linemen, and I'm talking about Nick Bosa.
Yeah, Nick Bosa has hit the ground running, looks dominant, just like his brother did when he came into the league. Those two guys, not only are they incredible prospects and incredible players, but they're able to transition to the NFL with no hiccup whatsoever and just dominate right off the bat. We're seeing Nick Bosa get a ton of pressure, 49 of them so far this season. But here's the kicker. He is generating pressure at a higher rate than any other player in football right now. The highest rate of any player at any position. That's how dominant he is.
Yeah, he has been dominant. Tremendous fundamentals and technique. I think that's what has allowed him to jump from the college game to the NFL game while sitting a year off. How about that? That's exactly what Nick Bosa did, and he has hit the ground running, as Sam Monson has said. The guy who's topping this list may be a surprise to most simply because he plays the position at running back, but has really impacted his team unlike any other. What do you see in Josh Jacobs? Why is he at the top of our list?
It's interesting. Everyone wants to give credit to the Oakland Raiders offensive line.
That's right.
Because the passing game works and Josh Jacobs is putting up big numbers. But look at how many of those runs are coming after contact. They're Josh Jacobs making plays, not the blocking giving him the space that we think is there. The offensive line, it's been better. It's been okay, but it hasn't been one of the best units in the NFL. Josh Jacobs has the number 1 overall grade of a running back at PFF. He's also averaging 3.6 yards per carry after contact. So after you get hold of him, he's still averaging 3.5 yards per carry.
You mean he has a higher rated grade than Ezekiel Elliott, Todd Gurley, Alvin Kamara?
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. Christian McCaffrey?
Yep, and part of that is because he leads the NFL in broken tackles.
There you go.
54 of those. That's 5 more than anybody else on the ground this season. He is generating his own yardage.
He's Sam Monson. I'm Solomon Wilcots. He's dropping knowledge. I'm just learning. All right. Thanks for hanging out with us. This has been brought to you by Western and Southern.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.